My name is Lieutenant General Martin R. Steele, United States Marine Corps, retired. I am the co-founder and CEO of Reason for Hope and the co-founder and president of the Veteran Mental Health Leadership Coalition. Over my career, I have seen significant changes in regards to treatment of mental health issues. I'm the stepchild of a prisoner of war of World War II, a pilot who was shot down, and a prisoner in Stalag Luft 1 who never spoke about his lived experience. He raised me from the age of 4. I'm the only person in my family that he really even spoke about it, and he did it on my 18th birthday. Never really speaking to my mother or my older siblings, my brother and my sister. It had a powerful impact on me, on his resilience and endurance of having post-traumatic stress for the last 30 years of his life before he died. For me, what's happened is that the stigma associated with these injuries, whether they be comorbidities with traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress, military sexual trauma, no longer are associated with a stigma, and that we are looking at them in a different way. And we have this great opportunity to change the entire mental health condition in America by looking at viable evidence-based alternatives. And that's why I'm excited about what is happening at ARPA-H. For me, my entire adult life has been about observing my mentors who were World War II participants in my 2 tours of combat in Vietnam and in the Gulf War, Korean War participants, and then my peers out of the Vietnam War and the Gulf War, all who have some form of effective or affected challenges relating to their lived experiences while serving in harm's way. In 2015, I had the privilege to be selected as the senior military person on the VA's Commission on Care. Because of the situation with 22 suicides a day at that time, a commission was formed to look at the future of VA healthcare. Should we get rid of it because of the failure related to suicides? Should we let it muddle through, or should we, in fact, try to make recommendations for alternatives to the treatment that SSRIs were not providing for the majority of the patients in the VA system? They were not healing medications. They were just coping medications that were involved in ensuring that there never was a healing. So we met for over a year, chose the last option, which we made 18 recommendations to the President of the United States, the Congress of the United States, and the Secretary of the VA. 15 of them were bought, and we did an awful lot in getting the Mission Act, the PACT Act, and the WISE Act passed as legislation for looking at treatment protocols for taking care of veterans who had all kinds of issues. But we still weren't able to get far along enough with all this. And that's why I'm excited about what's happening now. It was that experience that shaped me in getting involved with Reason for Hope and the Veteran Mental Health Leadership Coalition to invest in mental and behavioral health research. It's so important for veterans and their families. We are currently in a crisis due to the critical high suicide rates that continue in our country. And we now have a possibility with this vision for the future for veterans' mental health care. And that gives me great hope that alternative protocols using viable evidence-based alternatives to treatment affords us an opportunity to ensure that we have a future that is completely changed in regards to how we're treating these patients. ARPA-H's approach to funding this model is so critical for advancing these kinds of breakthrough and mental health therapies. During my military career, which was almost 35 years long, and particularly as a general officer in the Marine Corps, I spent a lot of time working with DARPA on solving significant problems for national security and military operations. It is very refreshing to see ARPA-H take a similar approach with the Evident program to identify hard problems, commit serious resources, embrace public-private collaboration, and demand results. Because the traditional funding agencies and models that have been too slow, bureaucratic, and risk-averse for the moments we are in are just completely unacceptable. We are at a moment in time where we are afforded an opportunity to make a difference. I am honored to be a part of all that and look forward to working with ARPA-H to ensure that the implementation of these evidence-based alternatives can be implemented.